My faith is probably the primary motivator. I believe that it's my responsibility to advocate on behalf of those who, my tradition would say are the least, the last, the lost, and the left out. People who have been pushed to the margins. I think it's a divine mandate. I believe God to be a God that is on the side of the oppressed and the marginalized. Where I see injustice manifest itself, I feel called and compelled to do something about it. It's hard to take human rights away from people who are adequately informed and educated. And if you do manage to take them from them, it's more difficult to continue to keep those rights and privileges away from people who are enlightened and empowered and emancipated. There are certain things that people should be entitled to, no matter what country they live in, no matter what their gender, race, class, socioeconomic status. And I think that's what the Constitution for Human Rights tries to articulate. I don't think any of these documents are infallible or perfect. I don't think that about the scripture. I know I'm definitely in the minority in my faith tradition in that regard. But I do think that they're valuable in helping us shape and understand the substance of what it means to be human. The cardinal sin, insofar as injustice and evil is concerned, is inactivity. To not do anything. You start by doing something, and then often when people start doing something, they learn more specifically what they ought to do. And I don't think it's always good for me to direct someone individually on what they ought to do. But I do know you ought to do something. Show up somewhere, stand up for something, speak out on behalf of something. But I think that has to be grounded in a certain type of social and political and cultural consciousness. So, learn something, but do something. And learning something is doing something too. But be active. That's the root word of activism. It's to activate, to honor the spirit in one's own soul and space, and it's to do something. I never would have thought in a million years that somebody would be like, hey, we want to, recognize you for your work here. Insofar as human rights are concerned, although I do consider myself to be not just a civil rights advocate, but a human rights advocate. So I'm grateful for the opportunity to be recognized in this regard.